This week on This and That Garage, oh dude, he's still here. Yep. I do believe we can get him back on the road this week. Do some smoky burnouts out there in front of the house, allegedly. I think right off the bat though, remember I got to put a melanized gear on the distributor because we got that roller cam. We got to do a little work on the distributor gear for it to fit. Well, I can't do none of that talking, y'all. So let us get busy. Here's what we're working on. This is the old gear. I just pulled it off the distributor. Here's the new one, the melanized one. We can see the difference in the hole sizes. This one's 434. I just measured it. This is 491. Why they decided on those sizes, I don't know. You'll have to ask the dumb engineers that did that. But anyway, what we got to do is chuck this one up and bore it out to 491. What I'll do is, I'm using calipers. They're not super accurate. So we'll get it close, and then we'll start trial fitting it on the end of our distributor here until it just barely slips on. No press fit. You want it to slip on. So let's get her chucked up. Go to cutting. I want to say last time I tried this, I was using a high-speed cutter, high-speed steel cutter, and it just wouldn't cut this. This is fairly hard. I think that's what the issue was. Well, I think I bought some carbide boring bars. Let's see what that'll do. All right, I got the cutter set up, I think. Let's give her a pass or two, see how she does. We'll take we'll do about 5/1000ths. Yeah, she's cutting this time. Oh yeah, we might actually get something done now. All right, let me do a little measure and see how much we took off right there. What did I have? 434. Now we got 438, 7 or 8. I didn't take 2 or 3 thousandths. All right, we got not quite 60 thousandths to go. Let's get to cutting, man. We'll go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, just to get on an even number or a big number on my dial. See what that does. Just got done with another cut. This should have took 20/1000ths. It only took about 4 or 5. Well, that ain't worth crap. No, sir. This stuff is really hard. So what I'm going to do is do what's called a spring cut. Actually, what I think I'll do, leave this cutter where it's at. Just keep making passes until I quit cutting metal. That'd be the best thing to do. Fire in the hole. Well, here's the deal, fellers. I've done took like 6 passes and it ain't took maybe 5 more thousandths, which is weird because I did a little reading on melanite, the process. It's not a coating. It's they dip it in something real hot, and I don't know. But the thickness of that melanite ain't like 4 to 8, 10 thousandths, which is less than 1,000. And we've done took 20 thousandths off the size, so the melanite should be gone, but it still won't hardly cut. I don't know if I'm gonna fool this much longer or not, but I did get on Summit and found a melanized distributor gear for .491 shaft for $46. They didn't have that before. They're usually about $100. Yeah, if I saw the $46 one, I'd have bought it. We on sitting there doing this for an hour or two. Anyway, I'm gonna keep filming this for a little longer, and then if it don't hurry up and do something, I'm gonna go buy that $46 one. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but the chips are flying again. I think what happened is that melanized coating dulled my bit just like that, and I've spent the last 30 minutes trying to cut with a dull bit. So I just put a fresh carbide bit in there. She's cutting now, so hopefully we can get it done. What do we have? Let me measure it. Hopefully we cut a little bit off this time. We were stuck at 455. Oh yeah, we're at 470, 471. That's what happened. So at least now we know this can be done. You will dull your first cutter and then put a fresh one in and keep on trucking. Oh yeah. Let me take let's just do another small cut of 10 thousandths. About like that right there. Fire it up, man. It didn't do a whole lot that time. Main thing is, did we take any off that time? Oh yeah, it's at 480-ish. We only got to go to 491. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a spring cut. If you don't know what a spring cut is, well, let me tell you. Each time, you run this cutter over the metal, this will flex a little bit. It'll want to push off the workpiece. That spring, basically. Well, that'll build up. And every once in a while, you need to make a pass where you don't move this cutter. Just leave it where it is, make another pass. That's what I'm fixing to do. And it'll take, I don't really know what this will take, but it'll take a little bit off. Let's see what it does. I'm just trying to keep from taking too much off, like we did last time. I hear it squalling. I don't know if it's cutting anything. We'll find out here in a minute. Yeah, I see a few little chips flying off. So yeah, it's cutting a little bit. Sitting over at the lathe a few minutes ago, just looking at the basement here. All my junk spread everywhere. Most of this is the 390 for the station wagon. There's the transmission for it. That block, that's the one that was sitting in Lockjaw's front seat. That's a good block. We need to get it tore apart, and it's got the bosses to be roller cam block, so that's a good block. It'd be nice if it was a 4-bolt main, but I don't think it is. Of course, we've got our motorcycle. There's the go-kart. Remember, we was having carb troubles with it. I think we've got it figured out. Right there at the end, it was running out of gas, and that's when it smoothed out idling and all. The float's set too high. But they're set to, factory spec. Anyway, there's all the transmission stuff that's come out of the back of the old purple 51 out there in the barn. What else we got around here? I just got stuff thrown everywhere. There's the 350 4-bolt main block. There's the 307 that came out of Jolly Green. There's a head for the F30 tractor. It's just all kind of junk sitting around here. I kind of miss working over here sometimes. But anyway, I need to clean up. It's just, I got stuff strode everywhere. Anyways, hopefully we'll get this thing done here pretty soon. All right, let's see what we got. What do we have? It took about 3-ish maybe. 484. 7 more to go. I tell you what, let me do one more spring cut. Just see what it does. All right, let's see if we cut any more off with that spring pass. What was that? 484, somewhere in there. We are at. It took maybe 1,000th, so that's probably it for the spring cut. Let me move my dial over here. We'll go 2, 4. See what that does. We ain't got but about 6 to go. Well, it ain't really cutting. No, sir. I might need to flip that cutter around, get to a sharp side. It don't start cutting until it gets on inside there. That's weird. What do we have? That didn't take me a couple thousandths there. But it's acting like it's tapered. Yeah, see on the very end it's 490, 491. But you all in, it ain't but 86. Let's get the distributor, see what it looks like. Let's just see if the distributor will fit at all. See, it'll go in a little bit. I don't know what's making it taper like that. That's kind of odd. Anyway, let me keep whittling on it. I forgot to turn the camera on, but what I did is I turned this cutter around to the new edge. Let's see if it makes any difference. So it may have dulled that cutter there just 3 or 4 passes. I don't know. This is a spring cut, by the way. I haven't moved my dial over here. Yeah, it's cutting right on the end there. So, man, this stuff's rough on cutting tools. Goodness. I just hope we ain't went too far like we did last time. We have learned some stuff, though. Oh, yeah. That's right at 491-ish. Let's get the distributor shaft and see if it'll slip on it. Do it or don't it? Look here, fellers. Well, it almost will. It likes a little bit. Let me hit it with a spring cut real quick, see what that does. I don't know how many more spring cuts I've made, but y'all look at here. Oh yeah, that's pretty good and tight. Our thingamabob is lining up. Matter of fact, let me go get the whooshers that go on here, and we'll drive that pin on in. You got these little whooshers right here. One of them locks up in there, and the other is like a thrust washer, I guess. Anyways, let's put this little fella in here, just like it right there. Get that hole lined up. Get this here pin driven down in there. Ta-da! Well, I'm glad that worked out this time. We know we can do it. This gear was 33. This in here was 33. And like I said, I found one for 46 melanized. That may be the way to go, just go ahead and buy it. That way we won't have to do this. But we did learn something. Oh, yeah. Melanized stuff's pretty hard. It'll eat up a carbide bit pretty quickly. You need to keep a fresh bit there to cut it. Now, some of y'all might be wondering, why did you have to do this? Well, for what, I don't know why. They got these priced so much cheaper. But this is the 428 or 430, 430,000 shaft. That goes on stuff like my 4-wheel drive. It's computer controlled, but it's a small cap. Well, then you step up to a .491, which is this one here, the HEIs. I don't know if the old points distributors, I don't know what size they are. They're probably this size, but I'm not sure. Then you have .500, 9 thousandths bigger than this in here. That's your aftermarket like MSD. Why they didn't go 491 or why didn't Chevrolet go .500? I don't know, fellas. You'll have to ask the engineers. But anyway, we got this done. That's awesome. Short day today. I think that's all we're going to get done. I've spent most of the day up on Mama's roof. She's had a water leak around her chimney. I've been trying to fix it for 2 or 3 days. I think I finally got it. Oh, yeah. So tomorrow, we'll be back at the shop. Hopefully we'll get the motor put in. Maybe fired up. I don't know. Probably. We'll see, though. Well, as you can see, I'm up on the roof. It's over here at Mama's. We got a leak around the chimney we're trying to fix. And look who showed up. Going to come help us. Miss Daisy. Miss Daisy. How you doing, girl? And then there's an old bald feller. His name is, you are a handy dandy assistant, I think. Anyway, there's Miss Daisy. How you doing, girl? Say hello, everybody. All right, we'll see you later. You just ignore me. Today's the next day. No dude. He's still here. Nobody stole him. Nobody snuck in the shop and put the motor in for me. That'd be nice if that happened, but it didn't. He is waiting patiently for us to get him back on the road. That's the goal. Well, the goal for today anyway is get the motor in and maybe hear him run without any rattles or bangs. That would be nice. But before we do that, let me tell you about the sponsor of this week's video, Upside. The holidays are meant for giving, but that doesn't mean you can't get a little something back too. Between road trips to see family, hosting holiday dinners, and countless grocery and gas runs, this season can put a strain on your wallet. The free Upside app helps you earn extra cash back on things you're already doing, like filling up at the pump, grabbing dinner on the go, or making one more trip to the grocery store. With Upside, you're keeping more in your pocket during the season you spend the most. There are over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants on the Upside app, ensuring that cash back is always just around the corner. Yes, it is cash back. No confusing rewards, points, or credits. Just actual money you can transfer straight to your bank account. It's so easy. Well, let me just show you how to do it. Firstly, you got to open up the app. Here it is right here. The little blue dot, you are here. Well, if you'll zoom out, you can see all kind of offers in your area. Look at all them. Let's choose, where are we going to choose? Let's choose 9 cents a gallon. What does that offer? It'll tell you where it is right here. Well, you click claim. You can get directions, or if you already know where it's at, well, click got it. That's pretty much it. You might be wondering, well, how in the world do I actually cash out? Great question. Glad you asked. Let me show you. It's actually quite simple. Look up here at the top. You see your total cash back that you've earned. Look here, all these choices. You can send it directly to your bank account. You can get a Visa reward, Amazon, Starbucks. The list just goes on and on, fellers. Oh, yeah. You can even send it to Walmart or your PayPal account. Pretty doggone simple. Upside has given back $1 billion, that is with a B, $billion to its users so far. To find out how much you can earn, download the free Upside app and use promo code this and that to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code this and that. I got to run into town for a little bit and get some stuff. You know what I'm going to do while I'm there? I'm going to use the Upside app. I'm going to stop at a gas station somewhere and earn me some cash back on some gas. When I get back, let's get old dude back on the road. All right, let's start with getting our brand spankingly new distributor gear that is melanized. I need a bigger socket. That's not your typical 5/8. I'll be right back. Is it a 3/4? Why, yes it is. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't know. We're going to put this distributor in here, but I got to find top dead center on cylinder 1, firstly. So we're going to roll her over until I feel compression right there. Then we're going to look at the timing mark. I done went past it. Doggone it. This timing tab is really rusty. I don't know what's 0, so let me get some sandpaper and fix that real quick. Well, I still don't know which one's 0. I guess there's a hole here. Yeah, that would be the 0, you big dum-dum. Anyway, let me get this thing on top dead center. Then we'll drop that distributor in. All right, that's compressione. So we'll go to 0 on the 0. Approximately right there. That's top dead center. Now what you want to do is make sure this little feller's facing the right way, firstly. Because I put them in there before with that cocked out of the way. And you have to pull it out and turn that and get it right. Don't forget your little gasket either, because this will leak oil, promise you. Anyway, what you got to do, that's going out of the way. And that should work about right, actually. You want this pointing to number 1 with your vacuum advance over in this area. Approximately. No, that's a little too far. So we got to walk her around. And by walk around, the ones that don't know, it would be easy right now for me to just get a screwdriver, stick it down in there and turn it where I needed to. But sometimes you can't do that when it's in the car. So what you do is firstly get this stupid little gasket up here where it goes. Then, well, like right here, wait a minute, right here. Distributor's all the way down. We're pointing almost to the front of the motor. We want it this way. You walk it a tooth at a time, and it'll move that distributor gear. No, it's not the gear, but the distributor shaft, the oil pump shaft. I'll get it right in a minute. You know, it's slotted. And you walk this around 1 tooth at a time on the distributor gear, and it'll move that flat spot on the drive shaft with it. It takes a minute to do it this way, but it works pretty good. See, I went down. I'll move another gear. It went down all the way. Move another tooth. You just keep on till you walk it around. Just like that right there. We're about halfway there. There's another tooth. There's another tooth. And by walking around 1 tooth at a time, you pick it up until your distributor gear is not engaged with your cam. You turn this 1 tooth. And to drop back down, we're aimed at cylinder 1 pretty much. It's right here. Yeah, it'll do. Anyway, that's how you do that. Let me find the cap and we'll go ahead and put that on. Tell you something I completely forgot about. New plugs. I'll go get some here in just a minute. Hopefully they got what I want in stock. But this little feller here is gonna fit approximately like that right there. Numeral 1 is right here. I'm gonna put my finger here. Let's lift it up. We're a little advanced, so we can bring her around this way some. I think it'll be okay. I usually go too far. Anyway, it'll probably be all right. All right, now I gotta have another plug wire too. Number 6. Let me see if you will recall. It was burnt from laying on the header. Which one is it? Oh, right there. Yeah, it's burnt in 2. So I don't think I'm gonna have a red one, but I will have another plug wire. Let me go ahead and pull that off. All right, let me see if I can find a wire this length. Well, I lied. I had one red wire over there in the box in my cabinet. I don't know why, but it's twice too long. So let me cut her off. I wonder though, hey, I didn't think about this. Since it's right there at the end, we might just be able to cut this off and shorten it. Let's try that first. All right, will this little fella reach if we cut her off? I know to know. Where was it at? 6? Yeah, I think we have plenty. So let me do that. I'll put this one back in the cabinet and we'll shorten that old one. All right, here's our newly repaired sparking plug wire, and it'll go down through here and like right here. I think it'll be okay. If not, we got that other one we can do stuff with. Now this one here, which one is that? 1/8. So it does not belong in this. No, this one belongs in this. Just like that right there. We'll make it work. One way or the other. And then this little fella will be by itself over here on number 8. All right. What I was going to do next was try to figure out this carb stud. And I have discovered something. This is the stud that was in it. Watch. Just in and out like it ain't nothing. Here's a 1/4-20 bolt. That's what this thread is supposed to be. Well, watch this. It's actually screwing in. You go down so far and it gets tight. You can't pull it out. Well, let me show you what's going on. This 1/4-20 bolt measures 247 thousandths. That's almost 1/4 inch. This one measures 230 thousandths. This all thread ain't worth crap. No, it's probably Chinese garbage. This here is 1/4, but it's fine thread. It measures 242. It's a little undersized. So there's nothing wrong with the threads in this carb, I don't think. I believe I had garbage all thread. So here's what I'm gonna do. I wanna go ahead and get this took care of. So I'm gonna go to Ireland and get some sparking plugs. There's a hardware store up that way too. Hopefully they'll have some 1/4 inch all thread. I'll get a piece of that. Well, I'm back from Ireland. I got us some sparking plugs and I got me some all thread. Oh yeah. Hopefully that's a little bit better than what we were using. Let me tell you something real quickly. I decided to drive Jolly Green Giant to Ireland. It is worse than the danged old Ford. What's it called? Silver Bullet. As far as the drone in the cab. It's literally brain rattling. I have a headache right now from it. Yep. We got to fix that. I don't know. I don't like to have vehicles that I don't enjoy driving, so pretty soonly, exhaust is going to be running on out the back. Anyway, let's get this carb stud done. First thing we're going to do is run this little feller on down in there far as it'll go. Then we got to get the measurements. All right, she's locking down on me, so I'm going to say it's about the furthest we're going to go. Now get our air cleaner. Run it on down. Get us some measurement. Let me get something to mark it with. We'll cut it. Actually, let's just cut it off where it sits. How about that? Let me clean that threads up just a little bit. Maybe the nut will go on a little better. I think I got a wing nut. Let me go see. I have an assortment of wing nuts. No, I'm not including myself in that. I think this is going to be it. If I can get it started straightly. Oh yeah, that there fits. Well, now that we got that done, there's one more thing I want to do to it. Let me show you. Pull that off. I want to take this nut right here, put it on there, run it all the way down, and use it as a lock nut so this don't back out. Y'all really think I'm that stupid to do that again? No, sir, I'm not. Anyway, let's get back over there on the motor, and we got to continue working on it. What we got to do next is get this little feller picked up so we can put the clutch or the flywheel and clutch on. Then I think we'll be ready to put it in the motor, in the truck. Oh, yeah. I'm going to pick it up just like this right here from the exhaust bolts. Chain her up tight. And approximately right here. Get this stand out of the way and we'll get our flywheel on. Put our safety screwdrivers in here so it don't slip. Goes approximately like that right there. Hopefully it won't fall off and mash my toes. Stay. Put a little orange Loctite on these. We don't want them coming loose. We're going to torque it to Milwaukee. How about that? All right, there you go. Let me get the clutch. Let me clean this off first because I've been stepping on it and everything. It's liable to have a little Earl on it. A lot of clutch dust right in that center part. Let's get that good and clean. And now that I've sprayed Earl on that pilot bushing, I'm going to put a wee bit of grease. I think I've told you all this before. There really ain't no need because that's made out of what's called oil-like brass, and it has oil impregnated into the metal. When it heats up, the oil comes out and lubricates. But I still, just for peace of mind, like to put a little bit of grease up in there. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. All right, let me get the clutch disc on and the clutch pressure plate. Flywheel side. That's so you don't put her together wrong. I had to buy a new clutch disc, by the way, when I was taking it apart. She fell on the ground and cracked the edge of it. So, yep, had to buy a new disc. I also know, by the way, pressure plate bolts, they're shouldered. They're specifically for a pressure plate. If you just use regular old bolt, it's threads all the way down there. Well, that shoulder helps locate that pressure plate. It centers it up, is what it does. But just remember that, you don't need to use regular old bolts for a pressure plate. And the holes on the flywheel here are counterbored because of that shoulder. You want to run these in a little at a time because you're putting pressure on these fingers. You don't want it, lopsided because it may warp it. Now will the feller slide out? Oh, look at there. Well, I think the old pile of junk is ready to go in the truck. I'm hoping the transmission slips up in here as easily as it did the first time we did this, building this motor. It should, because the transmission is rigidly mounted. It's not moving around. It should do okay. Hopefully. Fingers crossed anyway that we ain't got to fight that. Gonna wait on spark plugs till after we get it in to get the headers hooked up. Also, and oh, by the way, remember me saying something about wanting to make a bigger pulley? Well, I have found a piece of aluminum. It ain't cheap, but in the next week or two, I'm going to buy it, and we're going to make us a 7.5-inch pulley so we can get 6-7 PSIs of boost and give dude the proper amount of boost for this little blower here. Anyways, let's head over yonder. I got to get the hood off. Let's get that motor set down in that truck. Here we come with the old motor. Up, and away! All right, let's see if we can get this feller over in here and dropped down. I got the headers tied out of the way. I'm hoping that's good enough. Going down slowly. Wait a minute. Gotta go back up. Just a little bit. Can we go forward? I mean backwards. You know what I mean. Try it right there. Going down again, very slowly. Careful. Careful, watch the wires. I don't see any wires being grabbed. Headers are out of the way. Let's keep on trucking down. Going down again. Wait a minute. Valve cover's hung on the brace. We'll go down a little more. Slowly. Let's see about where we are on our transmission stuff. Well, I can't see really good, but I need to come down approximately 2 inches. Going down again, 2 inches, approximately. Well, we're sitting on a motor mount here up front. Let me look again. Let me scoot her back, see what happens. Well, I got to scoot the motor. Something's got me. So it won't move. Let me pick it up just a wee bit, see what happens. Oh, I see what's happening. I'm hitting the rubber of the front motor mount. Then dropped a big whoosher. Where did that go? I found it! I can't get to it though. There it is. What about the other one? Do I need to go ahead and take it off? Let's see. It's probably gonna get knocked. Yep, it's probably gonna get knocked off. It's under the truck now. Anyway, we're hitting something. I guess it's the input shaft on the transmission. I need to go down. Tell you what, let's go up with the lift. According to what I'm feeling though, the back of the motor, it needs to tilt up. About like that, it's going in. It ain't going according to plan this time. I'm real close. I just need 2 more sets of hands. Oh, look here, it may have tried to go. I'm trying to look at the angle, the gap, see if I need to go up or down. I actually think I need to go up with the front of the motor just a little bit. By George, let me see. I think we're in. Yeah, but it's gonna move on me like it just did. So what I gotta do is get down here, push this feller. Well, it's hitting. So that's why it won't be still. Stay. I gotta find my bell housing bolts. I ain't got a clue where they're at. I'll return in a moment. If I get a couple of bolts in it, by George, I think we'll have it. This one here's, well, it's screwing right in. Oh yeah. All right, give me another one on the other side. Real quick like. This side over here, you know, it has the clutch slave bracket, what you call it. It's got a spacer I got to get in there some kind of way. If I can get a light down in there where I can see. All right, we got bolts in both sides, so we're good to go. Yep. Let me jack it up and get that front, the motor mounts and all that in. I got to raise it up just a wee bit. Probably about there. Let's see if these little fellers will fit under here. Oh yeah. There's one. Remember I told y'all that when Daddy put this motor in here, he mounted it in the front, like the Tri-5 V8s are. And then this bell housing is mounted, and it's mounted on the end of the transmission. This bell housing actually came out of Jolly Green Giant. Sure did. All right, let me let her down. Not too much though, because I gotta get them bushings lined up. Here is the top half of these motor mounts. It's just a long stud. Oh yeah, we got her started now, boys. Good and solid. Good and solid. Get our safety screwdrivers out of the way. Get this hoist out of the way. We'll raise it up and start working, putting the bell housing bolts in the thing. There's one. There's two. I got one over here on the, not the very top, that is, what do you call it? Oh, I got a ground strap right here. Where was it at? I think it was in this one. Let me get that. Anyway, the bolt up here, it's broke off in the block, so I can't put one up there. Oh yeah, there we go. Bell housing bolts are in. Let me untie this starter real quick and get it bolted in. Which bolt goes where? I got three. One of them's kind of long. Huh. I don't know. I think the long one goes up top. That bolt's a little long. I can't get it in there, so let me go get a short one. Yeah. This is the type starter that bolts from the front. It's got 3 bolts instead of 2 from the bottom. Well, I don't understand. Maybe, yeah, I see now. I gotta go get that bolt that I threw away. The top one, the long bolt, goes in. Well, there went my light. Now, what was I saying before we were rudely interrupted? This long bolt comes in from the back. Just like that right there. Well, now it's acting like it's too short. Well, I don't understand, fellas. When I get this starter figured out, I'll get it bolted in and we'll go back up top. Well, I figured out what's going on. I put the starter bolt in the bell housing area. And then this shorter, well, it's the long one for the starter bolts, but it's shorter. And it goes up here on the bell housing. I think that's the way it goes. Let's see, does that? Oh yeah, plenty of threads. All right, let me get this starter bolted up and then we'll head back up top. Starter, there it is. It's bolted in. I've just been doing a nut and bolt check. You remember we built our rear suspension last year right before Power Tour, and I haven't, double checked everything since then. Everything looks good. No welds broke. No bolts or nuts backed off. There's the upper arms, shock mount, upper and lower. Nothing's bent. And, well, I got to thinking, we put a Mustang 2 front end under this thing too. So I was doing a nut and bolt check on it. Well, I got over here looking at, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me get my hand up in there. I got to checking the top bolts on the upper A-arm. Well, listen, just listen. Well, listen over here too. Where's my hand? Can you see me? Anyway, listen. That's the washers on the top A-arm that are just spinning as if we didn't tighten those nuts up. That ain't gonna work, fellas. No, sir. She ain't moving another inch until we take both wheels off and do a nut and bolt check on that front end. Yep. That's the only thing I found, but that ain't good for your top A-arm to fall off. Nope. Anyways, let me let her down. I'll continue putting it together. Let's see if we can get these headers on. I just counted my header bolts. We have the correct number, so I think we're good. Yep, I don't think we got none in the motor anywhere. If you will recall, we had to double up on our exhaust gaskets on this side because we had a leak. So we'll be doing that again. Let's get all our gaskets in here now. And I'll go right here. All right, let's tighten them up. I gotta get 2 of the wrench. Then I'll go do the other side. Headers are bolted up. Now it's time for some sparking plugs. Last plug. Let's do the wires real quickly. That fella there's got to go around there and keep off the header. Then this one shall go here. This one will go hither. This one, nope, wrong one, buddy. This one will go hither. Then the last one will go around here, some kind of way. Got to keep it off the header. Let me make sure these are right. Then I got to hook up this, what do you call this? Temperature sending unit. Which reminds me, we got to repair that radiator. Remember I dropped the bolt on it and pretty sure I busted one of the tubes on it. Yep, pretty sure. Is this a 3/4? No, it's not. It is croissant wrench size. Get this little fella here tightened up. Now, let me make sure these wires are going to the right cylinders. 1 is right there. 8, 4, 3. Is this one going to 3? Yep. 6, 5. Where is it at? Right here. Yep. 7. Right there. Yep. They're right. All right. I got some wires I can hook up right here too. Let's do that. Tack power to the distributor. Let's get the oil sending unit line firstly though. I can't even hardly see it, much less get to it. All right, that little feller's tight. Let me get these wires hooked up. I got to do plugs on the other side. We'll get the carb on. It's a lot of little knick-knack bullcrap I got to do. I'll be back in a little bit. Pretty much everything's hooked up except for carburetor device. Of course, radiator. It's over here on the table. I'm not real sure that that's a hole, but it's a real good place for one. So, knowing, you know, MLS, I'll put it in there and that'll be a leak. So, let's go ahead and just put a little weld on it while we got it out. I got this here at Harbor Freight. I've never used them. I just saw some fellers using it on, what's that called, YouTube? I don't know if it's going to work or not, but what I'm going to do firstly is take this sanding paper and clean any oxidation off real goodly. Once I do that, I might hit it with some carb cleaner, and then we'll see what it does. There's a little valley, little crease down in there. I'm trying to get any kind of oxidation out and give this stuff the best chance possible to stick to this aluminum. All right, let's try that. I'm going to hit it with some carb cleaner. Let that dry. I don't want to hit this with a torch and have it poof right in my face. When it's dried up, we'll hit her with some heat and some aluminum rod, and hopefully we'll weld that up. I got a puddle of carb cleaner right here. Let's see what it does. I'm going to stand back a little bit. Oh, yeah. It didn't poof like I thought it would, but it did flame up. Oh, we got the radiator just caught on fire. I don't need to burn up my plastic fan. Let me see if I can put that out. Burning up wires, yep. That's not good, fellas. Tell you what, let me get the air hose and blow this out some more. I really don't want to burn up the fan. Nope, sure don't. All right, here we go. I'm assuming this is sort of going to be like brazing. You know it's the right temperature when it starts flowing. I don't know. You got a clue. Oh, she's flowing. The rod's flowing anyway. Of course, we're burning up the fins. Yep, just melted that tube. That's real good. That's real good. Yep. Should have known this wasn't going to go well. Yeah, that tube just sagged. Sure did. Let me see if I can't fix it. I have no clue if that's fixed or not. Let me let it cool off. We'll fill it up with some water. We'll turn it on its side. Fill it up with some water and see if we got a leak or not. Well, I just poured 2 bottles of water in it. And she's leaking. Yep. It's just going to take me a while, I'm telling you. Let me clear these fins away, see what I can do with it. I got this big blob of aluminum out. You can see the big hole we got now. I got this torch out because you can control the heat. You can turn it down, pretty low. Well, as soon as you tip the little feller over, well, just watch. Give it a second. It flames out. Well, it ain't gonna do it now. Ain't that something? It wouldn't let me do that a little while ago, though. It would just flame out. Anyway, I don't know if I want to continue trying to use this or just go get me some JB Weld and be done with it. Let me try the aluminum rod one more time. We'll see what happens. This is the 3rd time. It was not a charm. So what I'm doing is putting soap on it, hit it with some air. Oh yeah, I see where it's at now. Right here on this corner. Yeah, let me drain the water out and hit this corner. Maybe we won't melt the other way. Is the 4th time a charm? Well, I don't know. I'll tell you here in a minute. Let me hit her with some soap. Fill it up with water. I gotta go fill my jugs up. I'll be right back. Pretty sure I see water dripping, but let's hit her with some air. I don't see anything yet. I'll tell you what, I need 3 hands as usual. I need to close this off, hold this hole up here, and then, yeah, I see her dripping. Shona! It's in the same spot too, I think. Yep. Right there on that edge. I don't know why it won't quit. Today's the next day again. I just walked through the door and I'm hit with the awful smell of gasolines you've ever smelled in your life. I'm about to pass out. I'm losing brain cells as we speak. Well, it's because there's a big puddle of gasolines in the floor. Sure is. What's happened is the line coming from the tank to the pump, I undid it so we could pull the motor out. Well, I stuck a spark plug in the end of that hose. I've done it 1,000,000 times and it's worked 1,000,000 times. And plus I had the line raised above the tank where, just in case, it couldn't drip. Well, apparently that line has fell down overnight. I can see the end of it right there. She's just steadily dripping gasolines in the floor. Yep, sure is. Let me open the door quickly before I die. Then I got to fix that, clean this up, get it aired out. But wait, there's more. Yes, sir. Let me get all this done, and I'll show you the next Dumas thing that I have done. Gasoline situation is under control. Smells mucho betero. Got both doors open. I haven't worked hardly any this year with the doors open. If you will recall, last year we had hummingbirds that just too stupid, to get out here. They got stuck in the ceiling. I've only seen 1 hummingbird around this place this year. That's weird. Just a bunch of them last year. Anyway, enough about the birds. Like I said, gasoline situation's fixed. Well, let me show you my next Dumas. Seem to be doing that a lot. As you can see, the intake manifold is gone from the motor. And here's why. Well, let me ask you a question first. Let me get in here close. Do you see anything odd about these intake gaskets? I'll give you a minute. Yep, that's it. This hole here and this hole here, not supposed to be blocked. Nope, that's where water comes out your neck into your radiator. You can see they only got 1 tiny little hole in them. Let me explain what's going on. Well, firstly, let me tell you this. Well, firstly, the only reason I know about that is because some of y'all commented last night. The video of getting the motor put back together dropped last night. I was reading through the comments, and 2 or 3 of you said, "Hey, intake gaskets, they're wrong." I was like, "What? You're crazy, man." Got to watching the video as I was putting the motor together. Sure enough, yep, they're backwards. And here's what's going on. Those gaskets are made for a TBI motor. I ordered a TBI motor gasket set because this is basically a TBI motor without the TBI heads and intake. Well, mainly I wanted that gasket and stuff for the rear main seal. That's what's going on. These are specific to TBI motor. Let me pull one of them off, and we'll get over here and I'll show you what's supposed to go on it. One of these things is not like the other. Nope. So you got open hole, open hole, open hole, tiny hole. Well, I see now it says rear. I've never encountered this type of gasket. This is the only gasket I've ever had in my hand that I know of. Both water passages are open. Just long, this is all I've looked for. This side up. Right there, let me show you. This side up. That's all I've ever looked for. To make sure you get it on the right way. Like I said, this is specific to TBI motors starting in, was it 86? What have I told y'all before? Anything past mid-80s, I consider it new, and I don't mess with it. For the most part, unless, you consider my truck, which is a TBI motor, but I've never, other than doing that heads and cam swap, I've never went internal on that motor. You live and you learn, fellers. That's what life's all about. Now that I know this, these would work fine. You just have to turn them the right way. It would work just fine on the passenger side, but not over here on the driver's side. See, we got our passage blocked off. That would have caused overheating terribly bad. It wouldn't have burnt the motor up because I watch my gauges pretty close most of the time, but I guarantee you that would have been a huge, huge headache to troubleshoot and figure out what's going on. Yep. Probably would have never figured it out. I probably would have ended up tearing the motor apart, and I'd have got different gaskets, put them on there, and it'd quit overheating, and I was, still 15 years from now, I've been wondering, well, why did that thing overheat? Anyway, enough jibber jabbering. Let me get this cleaned up, get the intake put back on. But wait, there's even more. Let me show you. The radiator last night, after 8 or 9 attempts of trying to weld this up, I gave up. This welding rod here, I don't know that it's meant for, being watertight. There's no, well, matter of fact, it says somewhere, yeah, right there. Aluminum weld is a fluxless low temp brazing rod for aluminum. And I don't see how you're going to make something watertight without some kind of flux to get rid of the corrosion and oxidation. I don't see it. They can be repaired because radiator shops do them all the time. I'm going to find out what they're using. I'm going to get some of it because, the dang old Ford out there, I put a hole in that radiator too. Sure did. If you will recall, I don't know, a couple months ago, I changed out one of the cooling fans. Well, I poked a hole in the radiator doing that. Yep. So we got to repair it too. But here's the thing. I finally gave up and I decided to do JB Weld. Well, I got a cooling system pressurizer tester thingamabob here. She's still leaking. Yep. This is a 3-row radiator. And I'm thinking the middle row of tubes, I've damaged it. So I'm going to have to tear out all of this and see what's going on. So don't be surprised if this don't get back on the road today either, because of not one Dumas, but 2 Dumas. Yep. Remember me telling y'all here a week or 2 ago that I just need to quit building motors? Well, here's some more evidence of that. Yep. Let me tell you this real quickly. I think it's when I was first tearing this motor apart, trying to figure out what happened. I had 2 or 3 people tell me, you don't need to be building motors. Well, that may be true, but it's not going to stop me from building motors. Don't ever let anybody tell you you can't or don't need to be doing something. No, sir. Laugh at them, shun them, get away from them. Yep. Anyway, let me get this intake back on the motor, and then we'll deal with the radiator. This Dumasness, it's done. Yep. Matter of fact, the whole motor's done. I got the carbone. Everything is hooked up, ready to go. But we need a cooling system. Ain't got one. Been working on this radiator for a little bit. I got all that JB Weld ground out, picked out. It hadn't even hardened. This was the quick JB Weld, and it was still soft. 20 hours later, yep. Anyway, looks pretty rough. I did do the pumper upper because this tube here looks pretty bad, and I thought the tube below this bad one was messed up. No, sir. This is the only tube that's leaking. It's bad enough now that they'll have to come up here to the end at the tank on either end and just stop it up right there. I would do that, but that welding rod is garbage. As a matter of fact, I tried just welding on a piece of stuff here, and the aluminum melted before that ever started flowing. So maybe I don't know what I'm doing with it, but I kind of doubt it. I think it's just junk. If I can find out the stuff that the radiator shops use, I'm going to get some of it. But I don't have any now, so what I'm fixing to do is get on the phone if it ain't too late. Call radiator shops. I don't know if we even have one in town anymore. If we do, I'm going to call them and see if they can fix this tomorrow. If not, well, I may just have to order a new one. I found one on Amazon and get it in 2 days, I think. Anyway, let me figure out what I'm going to do with this, and then maybe tomorrow we can send the little fella down the road to a burnout. I don't know. Just have to wait and see. Well, I called around town today. We got one radiator shop in town, supposed radiator shop. Talked to the fella that actually does the work on the radiators, and I wasn't happy with his level of confidence on working on aluminum. So I said, no thanks. Luckily, last night, I got on Amazon, and I found this right here, flux core aluminum brazing rods. Yep. So I've been fooling with it. Actually, let me show you this firstly. I didn't know they had this at Lowe's. It's Burnouts aluminum brazing and welding rods. I haven't fooled with it yet, but it is non-flux core. Probably going to do about like what I got from Harbor Freight. But I've been using this stuff, practicing for about an hour or so on the, remember the Trans Am radiator? What did I do? Drop it? Somehow I messed up 3 tubes. 1, 2, 3. These 2 here, brazed up just pretty as you please. This feller here, as you can see by the big ginormous conglomerate of garbage on it, has taken about 8 tries. Finally, I think I've got this sealed up. It's leaked down on me a little bit, but this plug right here is probably leaking. Let me pump it back up, and we'll shoot it with some soap and make sure we ain't got no bubbles. This plug here is just stuck in. It's a holding, I'm surprised, but it may come flying out on me. I've only went to about 8 PSIs because I'm afraid to fly out. That right there is about, well, we've done hit about, well, that says 9 to 11. All right, well, let's hit her with some soaps and see what we got. Soak it real good. I see not nary a bubble, fellers. That's awesome. Let me get y'all in here and you can see for yourself. Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? Ain't nary a bubble nowhere in that. Sure ain't. Awesome. So we now have a radiator for a LT1 Camaro or Trans Am. We'll put that to the side because you never know. We may get one eventually. Let me get the 53 radiator up here, get it ready to go, and fingers crossed really good that we can fix it. Got this radiator up here and prepared. You know, I talked about last night just cutting it off here at the tank and welding that up. Well, I've decided not to do that. I just cleared all these fins out of the way, cut it off with this little pair of Caesars, and then took my needle nose and just pinched the end of it closed. Because if you got a hole, it has a tendency to just want to keep falling through the hole. Anyway, got them pinched off. I'm not cleaning them up with anything. The Trans Am radiator, I was cleaning it with alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and that seemed to hurt it. When I quit doing that, it got better. So I ain't cleaning it with nothing. I'm going to let the flux in this rod do its thing. Let's see if we can weld this up. All right, here we go. It's kind of hard to see when the aluminum's ready. Aluminum, when you're heating it up, it don't give you no warning. It just gets soft and just falls away. With this rod, you can barely see a change. It'll go to flowing instead of just balling up, and that's when you know you're pretty ready. Anyway, let's see what we can do. I can hear the water boiling in this radiator right now. It's already flowing on this. All right, let's do this one over here. Hopefully this is all we got to do. Well, it looks like it stopped up. Let me let it cool. I'll put my stoppers on the holes and we'll pump it up and see what we got. All right, let's get our little pumper upper on here and pump her up. It's got a little relief valve here. You gotta make sure it is not activated. Pumpity pump. There's approximately 7 psi. Where's my soap? What do we have? Little pinhole right here. And so it begins. Well, let me see what I can do with that. I've been taking air and just blowing the soap away. That seems to do the trick. Let's see what we can get done right. Cha. It was right at the very top of the tube. So hopefully it won't take a whole lot to get this done. This aluminum here, it's different than that Trans Am radiator. It seems to heat up and let the rod flow a lot quicker. Now, so I just blew that one open. Sure did. Darn it. May have to cut it back further. I don't know, because it sort of splits. Maybe I can fill it up though. Let's see what that did. Fingers crossed. Did we or didn't we? There's 7 to 8 psi again. What do we got? By George, I don't see nary a bubble nowhere. Let me pump it up a little higher. I don't know what that cap is. Let me see. Where did my cap go? Ain't got a clue. That's a great question. I don't know where the radiator cap is, but let's just see how high I can pump it up with this. That's probably 12-ish. Still no leaky leaks, fellers. Well, that was very easy compared to that Trans Am radiator. Sure was. Awesome. That is pretty awesome that repaired that easily and quickly, considering that Trans Am radiator took an hour. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm glad that we have found us a rod that will work. I went ahead and put it in this is what the Harbor Freight stuff come in. There it is right there. Probably throw it away. Anyway, I think what I'll do, I'll put a link to this in the description below. It was 50 pieces for $10. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy me another bundle of it because we know it works now, so why not have a whole bunch of it just in case, they quit making it. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just want to pass that along to y'all because it seems to be pretty good. Anyways, it is late. I've been doing other stuff all day waiting on this to get here. It's awesome that we got this fixed. Tomorrow, we'll put the little fella in here, fill it up with the radiator fluids, fire this thing up, and hopefully we'll be done with this. Yep. Anyways, see y'all tomorrow. Radiator is installed. Filling her up with radiator fluid. Well, that says 50-50, but it looks like it's straight antifreeze. Anyway, gonna fill them up with radiator fluid, start it up, set the time, and let him warm up. If we don't hear no knocks and bangs and unusual noises, we'll put the hood on him, back him out here, and take him for a drive. Well, all the fluids are okay for now. I reckon it's time to fire this little feller up. See how he's gonna do. Fire in a hole. Or not. I think that battery's going bad because I charged it up, when we first pulled it in here. Let me get the charger. It's been dragging for a while. I guess that battery's going bad. Always something. Well, it's only showing 10.5 volts. Did I not charge this up? I pulled the battery cable off, so there ain't no drain. Very odd. All right, got the boost on. See what it does. Fire in the hole once again. Well, I'm gonna have to let it sit here to charge, I guess. I'll be back in a little bit. Whilst I waited on the battery to charge, y'all look here what it did. Went ahead and hooked up the AFR gauge. Oh yeah, let's turn the key on and see what it does. Got some lights and stuff. What happened? This key is still acting up. I need to replace it. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming, I don't know if y'all can see it. Yeah, heat. The O2 sensor, it's a heated O2. It's got to heat up. I'm assuming this has got to go all the way over there maybe before it's heated up. Anyway, for those who do not know what an AFR gauge is, AFR means air fuel ratio. It tells you how rich or lean your motor's running. The reason I wanted on this is supercharged motors are more apt to go into detonation, which will melt pistons, you know, if you're running lean. Which this in here, it ain't really no big chance running 4 PSI as a boost. But the little feller's going to get more boost eventually. I don't know when, but it will eventually. So I wanted to go ahead and put that on there so we don't run her lean and burn up a piston. Anyway, got that done. I think the battery's probably charged up enough. Put y'all on the camera stand. See if this little fella will fire up. All right, let's try this once again. Fire in the hole. That battery is yeah, it ain't no count. I'm gonna have to get another one, but it's gonna have to do for now. Let me give it a little bit of help. Make sure I got the distributor wires hooked up. I might have forgot them. No, they're hooked up. Let me give it a little bit of help real quick like. I think this is from the 47 International. It ain't too old, but it does smell a little old. Maybe it'll still burn though. A little bit to grow them. Fire in the hole once again. Oh yeah. Let me give her just a wee bit of timing. See if that don't help us out. Fire in the hole again. Well, we got a bad battery. This is really getting on my nerves. Yep. Well, it's counting down. It's got 5 seconds to go before our little jump start will work. I hope. It says ready. Let's hit the key. Well, something ain't right, fellas, because I just give her a drink of gasolines. It ain't even offering to hit. So I don't know if my timing is that far off or what. Give her another drink. See what that does. Fire in the hole for the 978th time. Yeah, something ain't jiving because it ain't even attempting to. Let me turn this on around some more. Y'all know I usually get that off one spot, the distributor. Let's try it right there, see what happens. Let me go back the other way, see what happens. Approximately right there. It's trying to right there, so let me go on around that same way. About right there. now we have a dead battery again. I tell you what, let me go look at the Duty Brown dually. If the battery will fit in that compartment, then we're going to swap them out. I'm about tired of dealing with this battery. Sure enough, batteries are swapped. That one there it's a Walmart, cheap Walmart. I don't know if it's the cheapest one or maybe one step up from the cheapest, but it's 3 years old. I don't think it's too bad to have a cheap battery. Anyways, let's see if it'll fire up now. It's wanting to. Just a little bit. As soon as I get the timing where it needs to be, I think she'll fire off. Well, that ain't right. Let me go back the other way. Fire in the hole again for the 9,764th time. Well, I don't know what's going on. Let me put a timing light on it. See if I can figure out where we're at. If I can find my timing light. I don't know where it's at. Is it in here? No, sir. Is it in here? No, sir. Well, I shall return when I find it. Starter gun's hooked up. Timing gun is hooked up. Where are we timed? Well, now it wants to try to start. This ain't firing all the time. Let me bring it back around this way and see what happens. Acts like it's hitting on about 2 cylinders. Lifters may not be pumped up, but they should be. Interesting. I go back around the other way. There we go. I'm gonna let it sit here and warm up. I'm gonna set the timing. Just check everything over. Hopefully it'll be good enough. We'll take her for a spin. Well, he seems to be running pretty doggone good. Got the timing set. It's about 10 degrees initial or whatever it is, and then about 35. Fully advanced. It'll do for now. We were having a ton of smoke coming out of the pasture side exhaust. Had me worried there for a minute, but it finally quit. I guess it was just burning off all the radiator fluids that was in the exhaust on that side. Other than that, it seems to be doing pretty doggone good. Yep. Let's look in the radiator. Are there any air bubbles? None that I see. Nope. I was, curious about that, because if we're leaking compression by our sleeve, you'll see it here. I don't see none, so we'll put the cap back on it. Some kind of way. What kind of aerial pressures and tipitars and AFRs do we have? Aerial pressure, a little above 50 at idle. That ain't bad. We're definitely warmed up, but we're still below 190. 12.3, that's a little rich. 14.7 is perfect, but you'll never get it. We may tune on it a little bit. I'm most worried about what it is at wide open throttle. Speaking of wide open throttle, let's whack a throttle, see what he sounds like. Still sounds just as good as it ever did. Boy, I love the exhaust on this truck. Let me put the hood on it. We'll hit the road, take him around for a drive. Let's take old dude down the road and see how he does. There's the old duty brown dually. This clutch pedal, it don't feel right. It's grabbing way down low. We'll have to look at that sometime, but that is definitely not right. Holy crap, I can't see nothing because of the sun. Whew. It's an Hot Rod's voice. Let me stop in there real quick and actually say hello. Well, there's ain't but one thing left to do. Y'all know what it is. Well, I think it's safe to say that old dude here, he's back and stronger than ever. Oh yeah, I can definitely tell he's got more power now. Remember, cylinder 6 was dead basically due to a spark plug wire being burned in two. I can tell he's got more power. Not a whole lot, but yeah, he got more power. And I can tell my tack is, well, for whatever reason, it's quit working. I can't get it to work. But I can tell just by the sound of the motor and the blower whine, he's turning more RPM too. Oh yeah, a whole lot more. Yeah, dude is back for sure. Pretty proud to say that we got our first sleeve job on a block under our belt. Seemed to went pretty well, as evident of how dude runs. Got another to do on the Trans Am sometime or another. We'll get it next couple of months, hopefully. Hopefully I've learned from this, and I know what not to do at least on the next one. Be looking for that. Also, dude's gonna get more boost. Probably gonna make a bigger bottom pulley, like I said. I got another blower sitting in there on the shelf too. You never know. So be looking for that. You never know what's gonna happen around here. Anyways, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.